head out to the farm, maybe get the tires a little dirty, and we'll see what ThatBlueJKU is about. We're a couple miles from it now. But I mean, I figured a channel that's supposedly, I guess it's a vlog channel, but it's supposed to be more centered around my Jeep and stuff with my Jeep. I figured I might as well go over my Jeep. And like I said, we're a couple miles from it now, and I'll talk to y'all when we get there. So yeah, this is my Jeep, and I haven't always been into Jeeps. I really like the like 01 or 99, late 99, I think it was, through the cat eye Chevys. That's what I always liked. That's what I always wanted. I wanted a dark blue LT, but I didn't want the gold bottom. You know how like up under the molding it's got the gold? I wanted it blue on both. And I think, the LT come with the gold, but there was one that I saw, and I remember seeing it, picking my cousin up when he was in elementary school, and he's been out of high school. See, I've been out of high school 10 years. He's been out of high school 7 years. And I remember seeing one. It was just what I wanted. It was the extended cab Z71, 6.5 foot bed, blue, LT, with the leather. That's what I always wanted. But anyway, that didn't pan out. When I was 18 years old, my granddad bought me a brown Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo, 2-wheel drive. It had the leather seats, it had the sunroof, and it had the Infinity sound system, but it was 2-wheel drive, 4-liter. And I did not drive that thing very nicely. I run it out of coolant, I run it 15,000 miles over an oil change. The rear end was blowed out of it, just about. It was definitely missing some teeth in the rear end of it, because it was either the rear end or the transmission, because when it shifted from first to second, it would about shake you to death. It would vibrate like the dash would bounce up and down. So I ended up trading that in, and I traded that in on a burgundy 2007. It was another Jeep Grand Cherokee. This was a 3.7 liter. But it was all-wheel drive. They called it 4-wheel drive, but it was all-wheel drive. And I drove that for a couple years. And the thing about those is the shifter module in them, if anybody's had one, the shifter module in them is just a big computer chip. It doesn't go to anything. It's a Mercedes transmission. And you shift it into the drive, and that you hit those contacts on that chip, and then that tells the transmission to shift into drive. Well, anyway, that thing went out, and that part's a little over $900 to replace. Well, me and my wife, we took our money we got from our wedding, you know, whatever gifts people gave us from our wedding, and we got a new shifter module. Well, not even 2 months later, that shifter module went out again. It didn't have any retention to it. It was supposed to have like a spring retention to it, so it would kind of lock into place. Well, it lost that retention, and to get it in drive, you had to slide it all the way down, and then you had to smack it. So when it went out again, we rode, and we probably looked at 5 or 6 Jeeps that day. We looked at another one where I ended up getting this one. It was already lifted, it had a hard top, came with a soft top, but it was a 6-speed. And my wife, she knows how to drive stick, but she doesn't like to drive stick. So we ended up leaving there. But this one, we saw this one while we were there. This one was low miles, and I think it was a year newer. But it didn't have anything done to it. It was stock top. The only thing that had been done to it was they had pulled the carpet out of it. But that was the lady who owned it previously left the top off, and the carpet got mildewy. It still had the rear cargo area carpet. Now we rode out to Raleigh. We looked at one Rubicon. They wanted way too much for that. I think they wanted like $30,000 for an 07. And we ended up going back to where we got this one from. And I looked at this one, traded my other Jeep in, and we drove out with this one that day. It was a 2008. It only had 52,000 miles on it, and I got it in 2016. So it was fairly low miles. Within the first year, I think I put the lift on it. which it doesn't have the same lift on it now. I'll talk more about that in a minute. But I put the lift on it, and I didn't have tires for about 8 months. I rode around on stock tires. I went to URI on stock tires. I had people tell me I couldn't do any of the stuff out there. But I had stock tires with about 13 pounds of air in them, and I did everything these guys are doing in their built Jeeps. Oh, one more thing. When I wanted a Wrangler, let me go back. Because I wanted a Wrangler when that Grand Cherokee went bad. I wanted a Wrangler bad. And the only stipulation I had was to get a 4-door. There's a turtle over there. Was I had to get a 4-door. Well, I didn't have to get a 4-door. My wife would have liked if I got a 4-door, because we did expect to have kids one day, which we got one on the way now. And we wanted easier in and out. She had a 2-door car. There's no need for me to have a 2-door car. Anyway, we got this one. And like I said, I rode around with the stock 275s on there for about 8 months, I would say. Maybe longer than that. Ended up getting a set of tires for Christmas. Got the tires mounted. And it was on like Donkey Kong then. That's when all the fun began in this Jeep. Since then, I've put a new top on it. I've cut the bumper. I pulled the fenders off. I pulled the rear bumper off. I'm in the process of putting the sway bars back on because suspension stuff probably should stay on. I got a full set of control arms, and I'll go over more on that in a minute. And that's how I ended up with this blue JKU. Alright, so I want to go more over the lift and stuff that's on this Jeep. And I'm gonna catch flack for it, but I don't care, because as you'll hear in just a minute, it is a powder coated and needs control arms, need straightening. Rough country. It came off of a 2-door. I think it was like a 4.5 inch on that 2-door, but it comes out to about 2.5 inches on here. I have JKS control arms, just the front lowers. The rest of them are whatever was on that Jeep, so I assume rough country. It's a Rampage top, I believe, and it does sit on 35s. They're tread rights, which are remolded tires. And as far as I understand it, they're old tires that get melted down and the cords get pulled out of them, and then they're recorded and poured back into a mold. So these are the mold of the first Goodyear MTRs, I do believe. That's what I've been told anyway, but that's the tires. The lift, now you've seen twice by now, I work at a scrapyard. The lift on this Jeep is free. Like I said, I do work for a scrapyard, so I was at a scrapyard. I was at it's a junkyard basically. He's a U-Pullet. How about that? He's a U-Pullet. And went out there, seen this 2-door, didn't have tires on, didn't have a top on, didn't have an interior in it. And but it did still have the lift and the axles on it. And I saw it had control arms. I wanted the control arms. That's all I wanted off of it. Yeah, I went in there and I talked to my man, and I asked him how much he wanted for them control arms. I offered him $200. He said cool. He would get them pulled off for me, and then I could take them when I come back. Well, I didn't go back for a while, like a good little while. And I went back up there and that Jeep was gone. And he come out there and he goes, I got all that stuff off that Jeep inside. Just come in there and take what you want. I said, what do you want for it? He said, nothing, just grab it and take it. So I packed everything up onto the catwalk of my truck and bungee corded it all down and brought it back home. And we put everything on it. And we did get the control arms off, because I thought it was going to be like a 3.5 inch lift, and it ended up about 2.5, maybe 2 3/4. So I've got to readjust the control arms, but that's another video for another day. All right, we'll hop into the interior here, because there's a couple things in here. In the back, which is cluttered with junk right now, there's one Rockford 12, and it's connected to a Kenwood single den. Don't mind all that molding. I was trying to do something with an iPad. That didn't work. I got a CB radio here, and then a 2-meter radio up there. We use that when we're on the trails primarily, just because there's so much traffic that's on the CB radio. The channel we want to use anyway is 16. There's always people on there, you know, 4x4 equals 16. And got my bass knob, and it wouldn't be a Jeep if it didn't have lights on. I'm not gonna fix the codes. I'm not worried about it. That's the inside of my Jeep. Alright, I'm only using this one for audio because I'm gonna go ride around a freaking turtle. Freaking snapping turtle. Ain't messing with him. Ooh, she's soft out here. Good Lord, it's soft out here. I don't think they got anything planted. Oh my. Might need 4 low for this. It's soft, a lot softer than I was expecting it to be. What in the world? But I'm gonna ride around out here on this field, and there's a swamp over there. That was fun. I hadn't put this thing in 4-wheel drive in I don't know how long. I haven't had, oh, I don't want to go in that. That's deep and muddy. I might not get out of it. I want to get a little mud on the tires. I got a little something I want to do with that. I'll hop out here real quick. Oh, shit, that van scared the hell out of me. Let's see if it's up here or not. If it's not, I'm just gonna figure things to do. Right around here, there's a little mud hole in the corner they don't ever do anything with because it's so wet. It stays wet all year round. Oh yeah, she's soaked back here too. That GoPro up there, I got a feeling it's about to get kind of messy. Sorry, GoPro. It's like sandy back here. I gotta get a little bit of mud on the tire for what I want to do. But I'm gonna go set this up first. I'll tell you one thing. It's soft out there. It's hella soft out there. Alright. So we're gonna hit that mud hole and see if we can get the rims a little dirty. Probably get the old Jeep dirty. I need mud on the tires a little bit. Well, man, that was fun. That's the first time I've put this Jeep in 4-wheel drive since like May of last year, I feel like. It's been a long time since I've been in 4-wheel drive in this Jeep. I go to work every day. Last time I put it in 4-wheel drive, I think is when me and my wife went to Corolla, and we went out on the beach. That was my birthday last year. It's been about a year. It's probably been longer than that since I've done anything like that. That was fun. But that's my Jeep. That's what kind of stuff I plan on doing this whole time. Maybe a little more technical things next time. That was just kind of go out to the farm and hit it before they plant everything. And that's it, man. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Consider smashing the subscribe button, leaving a like, leaving a comment. What do you want me to do next? I can't do nothing too extreme because this is my daily driver, so I drive to work every day. So if you got some fun ideas that I might be able to do, fun places around North Carolina I might be able to go with this thing, let me know. Peace.